I'm Hannah with the Rio Grande Watershed Conservation Education Initiative. And for this week's virtual field trip, we're talking about pollinators and insect habitat close to cropland and agriculture. And today I'm at the Rio Grande Farm Park. And the Rio Grande Farm Park has lots of different farm plots and a diversity of crops and plants and vegetables. It's also right up against the Rio Grande River, which is right behind me, and that has some benefits for growing crops. The soil is alluvial soil, which means that it was deposited by water, which is really great for growing things, and it also has great habitat. The habitat around a river is called riparian habitat, and it has a diversity of trees and shrubs, grasses, sedges, fords, which provides habitat for birds and many different types of insects.
A habitat is a natural area that provides a species with everything it needs to live, like food, water, and shelter. Insect habitat is all around us, and an area can have many small or micro habitats, like under logs or among leaf litter. The more plants and subtle differences in terrain, the more habitats and therefore more insect species. So why would insects be important for agriculture? Don't some insects eat crops? The answer lies when we look at the different jobs insects do.
I brought an insect net along and a mason jar, and we're going to search the different habitats. You could call them microhabitats, the very subtle differences in and around plants, to see what types of insects we can find here at the Rio Grande Farm Park.
Exploring the farm park, we found different types of insects in their natural habitats, including pests, predators, and pollinators. Some examples of pests that we found included grasshoppers and caterpillars. See if you can guess the jobs of these insects. Grasshoppers can eat up to half their body weight in plants, which can cause issues for farmers by eating crops. They can also jump up to 20 times their body length at about 8 miles per hour. They can help influence ecosystems and plant decomposition and regrowth based on how much they eat. A caterpillar's one job before they turn into a butterfly is to eat, sometimes increasing their body mass up to 1,000 times, and can eat over 20,000 times their body weight in plants. We also found a few predators or insects that eat other bugs, including wasps. Wasps are a natural pest control for farmers. They prey on small insects. Their diet also consists of nectar, fruit, and plants. Many types of wasp feed on insects such as grasshoppers and spiders. We also found beetles. Beetles eat plants, wood, roots, fruit, other insects, and sometimes even each other. Beetles can be helpful to farmers as some serve as decomposers and help to eat pests, while others can feed off crops and be harmful to farmers. We also found ladybugs, which are a type of beetle that are beneficial to farmers. They eat aphids and other pests that can be harmful to crops. Another type of predator we found is ants. Ants can lift anywhere from 10 to 100 times their body weight, depending on the species, and are scavengers, meaning they will eat pretty much anything. As well as pests and predators, we also found pollinators at the farm park. Some pollinators we found include bees. Bees eat pollen and nectar. One of the reasons why bees are so important is because when they are pollinators. When collecting their food, pollen and nectar, they cross-pollinate different plants and flowers, allowing these plants and flowers to reproduce. They are also vital for farmers by pollinating a majority of crops. Butterflies, like bees, are one of nature's pollinators. They also help farmers by eating weeds and other insects, including aphids, which can be harmful to crops.
The job of pollinators is especially vital for plants. Almost all flowering plants on Earth need pollinators to reproduce. It's how they produce fruit and seeds. Think of the last time you had chocolate, any type of fruit, or vegetables like squash and tomatoes. That bite would not have been possible if it weren't for pollinators. Crops like alfalfa, pumpkin, canola, almonds, to name a few, need pollinators to create good harvests. Unless European honeybees are brought in, those crops depend on native plants to provide pollinator habitat. Those plants support bees and other insects by providing them with a different food source throughout the growing season. Flowering plants that grow along roadsides and among ditches are important pollinator habitat corridors and support native insect populations. Having a diversity of habitats and insects creates ecological harmony where no one pest can dominate and many species of pollinators can thrive. Together, these tiny creatures and their jobs make our agriculture and natural landscapes possible.